After abruptly pulling a stopgap funding package off the floor last week, the House is set to vote later today on the same 6-month continuing resolution. The bill is linked to legislation requiring proof of citizenship to vote, which has been backed by former President Trump, but not all House Republicans are on board with the proposal. Joining us now to talk about this and more, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Joe. Can't
imagine why any Republican would not want to support something like that. I don't know where it would go from there. I don't really understand the other side either with not requiring proof of citizenship to vote, especially with what we've seen at the southern border. It just plays into all the conspiracy theories that's what Democrats are trying to do here. So the whole thing is confounding to most U.S. citizenry, Mr. Speaker. But why do some Republicans, they just don't like CRs in general? Is that what it is?
I think that's it for a handful of them. Here's the thing. Congress has an important and immediate obligation to do two big things. One is to keep the government funded. Obviously, that's our responsibility, and also to ensure the security of our elections. The CR is the vehicle to do that, and that is why, because we owe this to the American people, we're going to add that and bring it to the floor today to move that forward. Look, I'm going to try with everything within me to get this passed because we owe it to the people. I've been traveling the country nonstop, Joe. I've been at campaign events so far in 206 cities across 40 states in the last several months. No matter where we are, in every public setting, the first or second question from the audience is, can we count on the security of the election? And Congress has an obligation to do this. It's about a 90% issue on the polls. It's not partisan. Only U.S. citizens should vote in U.S. elections. That, to your point, should not be controversial. So we're going to move that forward. We're going to run the play today, and I certainly hope that it passes.
And then what would happen? Probably not going to pass, but let's say it does. Then what would happen? What are the prospects of it actually going all the way to where it needs to do to keep the government open? Because Republicans are not going to want anything that accidentally or inadvertently shuts down the government 49, 48 days before the election.
Right. And if we pass this today, we will be funding the government, and it will extend it for 6 months. So we have time to solve and resolve all these issues. And after the election, I'm convinced that we'll have unified government. We are going to grow the House majority. We are going to take back the Senate for the Republican Party. And I believe Donald J. Trump is going back for a second term. And so in the first quarter of next year, we will be able to responsibly address the spending issues and all the things and the priorities that we want to do in those appropriations processes. So I think this is a very important thing. If we pass it today, we send it over to the Senate. Chuck Schumer then has it on his desk. If the government shuts down and he refuses to move that bill, it's on him. The Democrats will have shut the government down, not the Republicans. We're doing our job.
Well, the Senate has passed their own. We'll look into passing their own version, and it will go back and forth. I mean, the reality is you could have a shutdown in 13 days. What happens in that scenario? And I'm asking also because a strategist earlier this morning said, what's your plan B?
I'm the quarterback on the field in the middle of the game. We are calling the play and we're running it. So I'm not addressing plan Bs. We got a big playbook. It's full of ideas. No one needs to worry. But we have to do the right thing. And I'm convinced this is on principle and on the Constitution, the exact right thing. This is an actual live fire problem because what's happening around the country right now is that the millions and millions of illegals who have come across that border since the borders are Kamala Harris and Joe Biden open it wide, is that some of them are trying to register to participate in the election. Many of them. We know 6 or 7 states have already done their own audits. They've proven you've got thousands and thousands of illegals on the voter rolls right now. And here's the problem. You know, if you have just a small percentage of those millions of people that try to participate, you can throw the outcome of the election. You can throw the outcome of who has the majority in the House. I have a colleague who won her seat in Congress in 2020 by 6 votes. I've got another Republican colleague, won his race by about 250 votes. It's easy to throw these things off, and you could even affect the outcome of a presidential cycle, depending on where all those illegals are participating. Some of these swing states are a real concern. So we have to make sure that before someone registers to vote, they prove that they are a U.S. citizen because that is existing federal law. And there's no mechanism currently for that to happen. That's why the SAVE Act is so important.
Yeah, 43,000 votes in I don't know how many swing states, and that was the presidential election. it's given all we've been through, we don't need the integrity of our elections being questioned. That's why it's so confounding to most Americans to not understand why this. Well, I guess we do understand why one party doesn't want to do what. Senate Republicans supposedly, Mr. Speaker, are getting frustrated, and I don't know. I know there's someone actually called a whip. I don't know what that involves. The whipping has been totally ineffective. We saw what happened with the prior speaker trying to get a new speaker. These guys are not. These cats are not wrangling. I said cats now. I'm hitting all the hot button issues. But it's very difficult for Republicans to get everyone in this, and Democrats to get everyone on the same page. And I know you're keeping a stiff upper lip and you don't have a plan B. But if it doesn't work, then Senate Republicans might have to work with Democrats, right, to get it done. And then I don't know what that does for you and your speakership.
We're going to get the job done. We always do, and we haven't let anybody down yet. But we have to run the right bill at the right time on the right principle, and that's what this is. Look, we do have the smallest majority in the modern era, U.S. history. Everyone knows for about 5 months we had a one-vote margin in the House. So it's been tough sledding at times. But I'm very optimistic. The reason I'm in such a good mood is I'm convinced we are going to grow the House majority in November. And we'll have much easier sledding ahead, to put it that way. So we've been working really hard. We've got extraordinary candidates recruited all around the country. They're going to flip some of these blue Democrat seats to red, and then our incumbents are going to be reelected. And we're going to have a governing majority to move the ball forward. And we have big plans for the next Congress, a very aggressive first 100 days agenda for the Congress and beyond. We don't put the cart before the horse, but we got to be prepared to lead, and I'm really looking forward to that time.